So hi everybody. I want to make a video about blame. If you give up, if you blame somebody, you give up your power to change. Huge, huge, huge. It's in one sentence. Everything makes sense. When you blame somebody, their control has a hold on you. And then what you do is, instead of accepting any responsibility for anything that you do, you then reblame everybody else. And you always blame situations and you blame everybody, and you stay stuck into a toxic life no matter where you bring it. I want to give you an example. There's a saying that says, the glass is half empty. So, a pessimist is going to say it's half empty. An optimist is going to say it's half full. A healthy person is going to say, I don't care if it's half empty or half full. When the water's gone, we'll get more. When you blame somebody and when you're stuck in blame, you look at the same glass and those three scenarios, and inside your head is, I asked you to fill the water last night. You're the one that drank it halfway down. No, I didn't leave it halfway down. You didn't ask me. Yes, I did. You were listening to the TV and you had the remote control. Weren't you paying attention? So anything in your life becomes a subject of blame. And no one ever, in a blame game, nobody is looking at the optimist, the pessimist, or the healthy way to look at a half glass. And that is a great measuring stick for what blame does, because it's never about what it's about. And in reality, the glass half empty, half full, or anything is irrelevant, because if it's half of whichever, you can refill it, which is where the healthy comes in. When you give up, and when you live in the blame game, you don't get a change. You travel from the broken place where you began and everywhere else in between. You end up having blame at your job, blame in your relationships, blame in your friendships, blame everywhere, and you don't ever get a change. And when anything happens that costs you things, you won't accept your own role in it. And that's the highest cost of all to living in the blame game. And you actually never get the best in life, because whatever's put in front of you, you're not able to see it. You're looking through broken glasses. They might as well be those crushed up kind where you can't even make anything out, and they've all been smashed, and you're still trying to look through them because you don't see anything clearly when it's in front of you. And you live a lifetime of regret, because when everything breaks and everything's gone and you leave the job and you leave the relationship and you leave whatever, you still don't get that you could have had it differently. Now, for people that had toxic parents, which everybody did, they start the blame game. They don't say to you, oh my God, I wasn't there for you. I shouldn't have spanked you. I shouldn't have hit you so hard. I shouldn't have done drugs while you were a child. I shouldn't have anything. And they don't accept their responsibility. So you internalize the term broken and worthless. And then when anybody else enters your life and you want a friendship or you want a job or you want any kind of connection, you are operating from that broken, controlled self. So say you're in a job and a boss has to say to you, geez, the last person we had filed that 3 times as fast as you are. Could you move it along? What you hear is, that asshole, he hates me and he doesn't like me and he's discriminating. That's not what he said. What he said is, can you step it up a little bit? And you don't hear it in the correct ears because you're broken. And what you want to internalize is, you're taking that broken little tiny baby doll baby that's a now grown up adult, and you're replaying, I'm not good, I'm not worthy, I'm a mistake, I'm extra, I'm a failure, whatever. And then then that whole connection's going to break, because as that boss needs more out of you and you're not producing up to the par of the level of the job, you're either going to leave the job, get angry, get fired, quit, whatever, and then you leave blaming, I was discriminated against. And you stay stuck in the victim role, everybody. You don't get to lead your life. What happens is your life leads you through blame. And you just leave broken, 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 broken. And there are people that are not comfortable facing or talking about their toxic parents. But if you don't go back to the core of where it broke and make them own what they did, whether you ever get to say it to them out loud or not, you need to say it to yourself. And you need to make them own what they did to you, whatever kind of abuse, neglect, abandonment, hitting, cheating, whatever it was. They have to own it, and then you don't wear it. And I see a lot of people, and I have this happen on my page time after time, where people are addicted to letting themselves be blamed so they can go back to being broken and toxic and staying victims. And then they want to bombard my page with all their story about my mother this, my father that, my boss this, my boss that. Your stories are irrelevant. Everybody has a story. If you want to heal, you self-heal, and you play these videos and you get the messages from them, and you don't even need to do anything except click like. And those are the leaders. The followers and the broken people want to keep telling and telling their story. And their story is irrelevant. Every single person had a story. And until you stop personalizing it and making it about you and realize there's millions and trillions of toxic parents, why did you get to escape is that question. And the answer is you didn't. Therefore, you're here and you're an adult, and your choices are two roads. They are to stay being a victim, to live playing the blame game, to never ever graduate into a healthy self and miss everything that your life was trying to direct you to. Or you can choose to heal, and you can lead your way out of this, and you can stop playing the blame game so that you look at yourself. And by looking at yourself, you have to look in your role as to how things break. And when they break, you have to face that you're repeating the toxic things that were taught to you, because that's what you choose to tell yourself. Now, I stopped telling myself I'm worthless and I'm this and I'm that. And when I stopped doing that, everybody, I graduated myself into this whole person. And you do get people that are jealous because they want to be you. And when they see you strong and rising, and they are not, they're afraid of it. So they're the first people to put you down. And you know what you do to that? Because you are not the measure of me either. We are in a world where toxic rules. It's toxic everything, and it's pretty hard to escape. But every single person that chooses to ignore the healing they need to do and to end the blame game and just say it is what it is, ends up becoming victims of the toxic planet. And what I see, and what a lot of people are doing, is they're rising and they're saying, I'm going to rise and make change and lead with this and lead with that. And the broken people are being left behind to function within each other, and they all hurt each other and then blame and then play victim. And they're left behind because all the leaders continue to rise and just go away. The last thing I can tell people is healing is not easy, but staying broken is worse. It gives you it's like, remember you guys weren't born when those record players had a skip and it would keep going and it would never play the next syllable because the little mark on the record made it keep going around and around. That's all you're doing. And you don't get to have the excuse that you're trying and that you're working on it and this and that. It's a thing that you have to choose and pick a road. And there's only two. And there's the blame game road, where your whole life is a series of it's just broken, and there's nothing that happens, and then whatever breaks, you tell yourself a different reason why it broke than why it actually broke. And the other way is to say, I keep leaving things that are toxic. I get into them. They pretend that they're a certain thing. I get in and I see it that it's toxic, and I'm out of there, because that is not going to be who I am. I wish everybody wellness. It's a decision you must make on your own for yourself. And broken people that stay in the blame game and stay victims and addicts, and every single victim is an addict to being abused, to feeling abused, and then having the right to blame. And then they want to pass that on to other generations if they do have children or wherever they go, and they never want to take responsibility for what they do, and they never want to face what they cause. I can't help anybody that wants to stay stuck there, and I pray for everybody that you choose to stop playing the blame game and rise. And we're in a crunch in